Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Grow and Clip Bonsai for Seniors. My name's Tom Novak, and today we're going to do the tale of two sisters, no growth. I planted these little girls on 225 of 21. Why they're not growing? They're in full sun. I have no idea, but we're going to find out. Instead of using the fast draining soil that I put them in, I'm just going to use the basic soil with the unmilled sphagnum moss or long fiber moss. I'm going to use the same formula that I used yesterday. It was 1 part worm castings, 2 parts peat moss, 2 parts sifted perlite, 5 to 6 handfuls of long fibered sphagnum moss. I want to show you one more thing before we get started. I got a book on plant diseases. Now this is what you can get from your cooperative extension agent. It's got all color pictures and descriptions. So when you open it up, the first thing you're going to see is all the different pathogens on the leaves and stuff. And then when you turn the page, because each one is numbered, as you turn the page, it gives you a description of each disease and everything. A basic small little description on the disease and everything else. Now you can see that I got it from the Cooperative Extension Agency, the University of Illinois College of Agriculture. So I got this book in 1992, and it's still a good one. It's got a lot of good stuff. And always on the back of the page, you always got what's wrong and what to look for. And it tells you how it enters it and everything else. So it's a pretty good book, and it wasn't bad. I think I got it for a couple of bucks. But if you have a cooperative extension service, try them out. Okay, let's get cracking on this. Here's my two sisters. What happened? No growth, full sun. So let's take the first little one out. Maybe the soil's too wet. I have no idea. But there's hardly any root growth on it. And then you can see there's a little sucker starting to come out. So what I'm going to do on this one, I'm going to put it in one of my small dollar pots from the Dollar Tree. You get 2 for $1. So I'm going to take our soil, put it in the pot. You can see the unmilled sphagnum moss in there that I cut up pretty good, and the fines from the bottom of the bag. And then I'm just going to stick the roots right on top. I'm going to do no cutting to the roots or nothing else. Get this in as best we can. There we go. Now don't be afraid to look for your cooperative extension service in your county or district or wherever you're at, because there's plenty of people that help you out with all kinds of good literature on plants and diseases and pathogens and insects. There's good ones on insects. I have to find that book and show you that one. Okay, so we're not going to do a lot to this one. All we're going to do is take our bamboo skewer and just get the soil into the roots. Let's take Mr. Elephant, water it in. Remember to look for your turntable, garage sales. This is the time of year they're going to have garage sales with all kinds of stuff being thrown out. There we go. A little more. Add it in. So we can get this root to grow. Now if it grows, that sucker does grow on the bottom that you've seen coming up. I'll have a twin trunk and see what happens with this one and see if it gives it a little energy or vitality to grow. So hopefully this soil with the unmilled sphagnum moss in it will help it out with the worm castings. Because if you don't have azus, I'm not using the azus because I want to show you to use something different to try out. Okay, let's water it. It's coming out the bottom real nice. Let it drain out real good. Push it in. It's a little fluffy because of the moss. It's still not super wet. It's kind of dry, so we'll let that soak in. And while that's soaking, we're going to take our other lilac. And this was a sucker also. So the first thing before I clip, I'm going to dip. And I'm going to take this one dead piece off. Right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make it a little shorter so we can have some vigor in the roots. So all I'm going to do is take this top one off, and hopefully maybe it'll back bud too once the roots start to grow. So I'm going to cut it about here at a 45. And then I'm going to take the other one. That's a small one too. There's very little leaves on it, so I think I might just cut one leaf off and just see if we get some back buds, because as you can see, there's no growth coming out of this, nothing whatsoever. And the same thing with this one. It's just sitting there. It's like in a suspended animation. So what I'll do is I'll pull these leaves off and I'll see if it'll root later on. So I'll put it in water next to my little geranium flower there. So this one's going pretty good. So I'm going to put it on my little tray there. I'm going to take this one out of the pot. Let's see what the roots look like on this, and if they're moving or anything. Doesn't want to come out, so let's get our little chopstick and push just to give it a little nudge. Okay, still nothing. We'll squeeze the pot, squeeze it. There we go. You can see there's a lot of roots on here. This thing's got an enormous amount of roots, but there's no growth. So I guess we're going to have to force it to grow. So let me put this in, take some of the soil off the top here. And I don't know why it doesn't want to grow. Sometimes they can be a little stubborn plants, you never know. And with the rain, this thing's good and wet. So let's put it in my little container here of water and rinse it real good, the roots. Now you can see it's got a beautiful root base. Look at that. But we're not going to cut nothing. We're going to just spread them out because there's no taproot on it, because I took it off as a side shoot. So you can see I'm just going to level it out. So we'll take our special mixture. I got another pot with the screen inside. So let's fill it, let's plant it, and then I'm going to put these in shade for a good 2 weeks. I mean, this has got a beautiful root system, but it doesn't want to grow. So let's coax her into growing. And why do I call it her? Because they flower. Usually a plant that flowers is a female in the plant kingdom. So a little tender loving care. Then I got some Dr. Earth plant starter, a 002 formula that I'll put on this after it's a good week in here. All I'll do is get the soil into the roots again. Now if something doesn't grow, don't be afraid to look into it, investigate it. Sometimes the plants need a little bit of your help, a little bit of encouragement. So I might have to go out there and talk to it. And it might sound funny that you talk to your plants. I think there was a author named Jerry Baker that says talk to your plants, and it's true, because plants can feel how you feel about them. You can have a plant, you can have two plants together, put them together, and feed them the same way, water them the same way, give them the same amount of sunlight. But you can go and talk to one plant and the other plant ignore it and just look at it with hate in your mind, and don't even pay attention to it. And that plant, even though you're feeding it good, will die because it feels the bad vibrations off of you. So maybe let's try a little tender loving care, a little talking, and see what happens. But you can see the roots, they're growing, they're fantastic. But it doesn't want to grow. It doesn't want to sprout. So we try. Anything we try. So maybe our sphagnum moss will do the trick. It'll kick in and help the plant to grow. Let's give it some new life. Let me get some more soil on the top. There we go. It's not hard. Just try. I mean, don't get frustrated. That's life. Maybe it's just tired or something. I might even sprinkle a little Epsom salt on here. It'll help it relax the roots. It'll give it magnesium. And you know what you do with Epsom salt too. So you got bitter cucumbers or bitter tomatoes. That's because there's not enough magnesium in the soil. You get some Epsom salt and it'll give you the directions what to put around the plants. And that'll really get your fruit tasting better. Same thing with roses. You can use them for roses also, the Epsom salt. Okay, there we go. So, we'll put it in the shade. See what happens. There's one. Here's our other one right here. I'll put the little owl there to keep him company. And this one, you can put a little dinosaur here. And a little rock just to keep him company for now. And we'll give it a shot. I'll get some markers later, or some popsicle sticks, paint them up, and I'll put a marker on there what we did, and let's see what happens. I'll let you know. So, if something's wrong, don't be afraid to investigate. Pull it out, check the roots. The roots look healthy. They're not dying or nothing, so give it a shot. So, find your cooperative extension agent. Get a nice little plant disease book. Today's Tuesday night. That's old time radio night. Get put on the CBS Mystery Theater, or Lights Out, or The Whistler. Cup of tea, your favorite chair. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the evening. You take care, everybody, and thank you for coming to Grow and Clip Bonsai for Seniors.